I want to give us three things that we learn from Peter and John here that I think is really interesting as you consider these facts of these two disciples going here. The first thing I want us to focus on when we look at these two disciples is that God often uses the most willing, not the most gifted. Here's what I mean by that. The other Marys went and told the other disciples, but we do not see them at the tomb, do we? Who do we see at the tomb? We see Peter and John at the tomb. They were the very first ones to go there. And what do we see take place later as the church is being birthed? We see God use Peter to literally start the foundation of the church, and John is the disciple who outlived everyone and was used as really a father of the Christian faith for a long period of time. And notice, they were the first ones willing to get themselves uncomfortable. They were the first ones willing to jump at the moment of opportunity to go and check out the tomb. And they seem to be the most willing, oftentimes, to be out of their comfort zone to be used by him. That's one thing we learn. Second thing we learn is that Lone Ranger ministry is very ineffective. So here's what we find is that Peter and John were together. Now let's remember Peter. Right? This is the Peter that just not too long ago denied 3 different times that he knew Jesus, that he was one of his disciples. So he's probably going through some hard times, right? Like, when you sin, it weighs on you, doesn't it? And here's what we often want to do when we sin. We want to retreat and get by ourselves and feel sorry for ourselves. But Peter was spending time with John. John is the one who now was taking care of Jesus' mother. They were together. And what we see here is that when we are together with ministry partners, we push each other, right? John helped Peter run faster. Peter helped John when he was timid. That is often how this gig works, isn't it? I look at the starting of ONElife Church, and that's how I feel. Linking up with a Dan Dameron early, I feel like, man, he made me run faster. Let's go, let's do this thing. And then meeting all of you guys and the different leaders, and where I'm timid, you're strong. And hopefully that's vice versa, but that's where we come together as ministry partners, and where we're weak, the other people can be strong, and that's a beautiful thing. And if we can learn to never do anything in ministry alone, man, that's a powerful thing, isn't it? Because we push each other that way. And that's what we see with Peter and John here. Third thing I'd point out just from this race from Peter and John is it's not about how you start, but how you finish. Right? John was the first one there, but then because he was timid and out of fear, he did not go in the tomb. Peter was there later, and he was the first one to enter in. And here's what stuck out to me at this point, is many of us are young here at this church. Many of us are young in our faith here at this church. Not all, but many of us are. And we're starting, right? We're running the race. We're off to a start, and we want to run as fast as we can. But here would be my encouragement to all of us that are there, is there are some that are a lot further down the road. They're a lot closer to the finish than we are. And we can spend time and talk to them and learn from them and have them give us a completely different perspective than we have ourselves. And we should do that. And I would say this, to those that are further down the race, don't just look at us and say, man, you guys don't know how to run this thing. Like, come alongside of us, encourage us, pour into us. And that's where that Titus church comes in together. The older training up the younger. Because it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And I don't know about you, but I want to finish well. It's not about how ONElife Church starts, it's about how ONElife Church finishes. And that's some important things that we can learn here.